show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
The time is now. The time is now. The time is now. I'm Trent, and this is Vision Preparedness. The time is now. The time is now.
Evening, everyone, and welcome to Turmoil Tuesday. I hope everybody enjoyed the long weekend and everybody's doing well today. And I want to thank everybody for stopping by tonight for some turmoilcy. We have an amazing guest with us tonight, but before we jump into that, let me say hello to a few people. Coffee first. Good to see you. Hope you had a great day. Then Speak, still the best name on these YouTube streets. Holly Ives, enjoy your sister's birthday party and tell her I said hello. Shannon, good to see you. Welcome in, my man. Ghost Lincoln, good to see you, my brother. Mrs. Meadows in the building, and I think I saw Meadows Spine also. Welcome in, the Widow's Diary artist and poet / PJ. Good evening. Thank you for joining us today. Yes, indeed. Love and Life is in the building. Good to see you, fam, and fam. Yes, Prep to Adapt. Welcome. Good to see you. Hope you had an amazing day, and I hope everything's going well in your part of the great state of OHIO. Yes, absolutely. Cha-cha. Good to see you, my friend. How are you? Hope you're having a great day. Southern Tier Preppers in the building. Good evening. Along with Little Lone Prepper. I think I saw Paper Buttons 19 sneak in the building and grab a seat over there somewhere. And if I did, hello, how are you? And you never know. That statement may come true tonight. Blue Butterfly, welcome in. My man, Cherokee Survival. Good to see you. He said, Venezuelan gangs take over Chicago apartments. CO Colorado residents terrified of illegal immigrant gangs. You know what? Hey, it is what it is. Well, we'll see if the Hells Angels and the Outlaws show up. Who knows? Whatever. Yeah. Celtic Grandma, good evening, good evening, good evening. Tiger, good to see you. Tuck is in the building. Welcome in, welcome in. Still, the best concrete man in the business, y'all. KP Heathen, my man, my friend, my guy. Good to see you. Hope you are having a great day. So, Psycho Billy, welcome in. Chuck C. Hey, y'all. Welcome in. He's speaking to everybody. Yeah, Teresa, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Jason M. Schmidt, good to see you, my friend. Hope you had a great day today, too. Y'all come on in, get comfortable, sit down, and we're going to talk about a thing or three. But in the meantime, folks, my amazing guest for this evening, all the way from the other side of the globe, y'all. I want to let everybody say hello to my friend, Guardian Prepping, all the way from South Africa. Good to see you, my friend. How are you?
Hey, good evening, Vision. Thank you for having me up. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely, not a problem. I on Saturday I was like, nah, we're gonna have a part two, and we'll do it on Tuesday. So if y'all have not subscribed to Guardian Prepping's channel, please do so. He's got some great content over there. If one of my amazing moderators wouldn't mind dropping his link, that would be amazing. JRC Homestead in Texas. Good evening. How are you? Good to see you. Yeah, yeah. So how's everything going? How was the weekend? How you been doing? Everything okay, Guardian?
Yeah, absolutely. Big shout out to everybody in your chat as well. I think that you've got a great community over here. So I really just wanted to say thank you to everybody greeting me and being so welcoming. I really appreciate that quite a lot. And yeah, I think that's the personality type, that you've got as well draws in a good amount of positive people. So that's always fantastic to see. And
Yes.
yeah, things have been good. Things have been really good on my side. Started to work out in preparation for next year's challenge of mine as well. I won't be going on about that too much, don't worry. But yeah, definitely starting to get into the workout and training again. So that's always good. And keeping my preps up and ready, because I think that we've never really seen a time where, it's going to be as important to just make sure that you got those final preps up and ready.
Absolutely. Roll 2IC. Good to see you, my brother. Hope you're doing well. Folks, if y'all have not checked out the Rule Report, you need to go over to Roll 2IC and check out his report. He's a good guy. Loretta, good to see you, family. Hope you're doing well. Welcome in. Welcome in. Loretta says, good to see you, Guardian. Sherry, welcome. Good to see you. Hope you're having a great day today. Thank you, Ghost Lincoln, for dropping Guardian Prepping's channel. There it is, folks. Go check him out. He has amazing content. Subscribe to his channel. My brother, my man, my guy, Devil Dog Preppers in the building, y'all, so we can go ahead and get started. So, Charmaine, welcome in. Good to see you. Hope you're having a great day today. Tara, there you are. How are you? How's Ed? You keeping Ed out of trouble, or at least keeping the turmoil to a limit with him? Yeah. Blackbird, good to see you as well. So let's talk here. So as we know, and you know as well as I do, the world is on fire, and the pot is boiling, folks. The pot is boiling. The question is, are y'all? You don't like frogs, do you? Yeah. See, Cole. Cole has uh, um, TS whatever it is, ST whatever it is. Anyway, the frog gang won't pay their tolls, so he has to go try collect tolls from him. And he has issues with the word tolls. That's right, Professor. Exactly. Welcome in. He heard Cole. That's right. But yeah, we know the pot is definitely boiling. And I know for a fact that we should not be the frog in that pot. And basically, Guardian and I were talking before the stream that everything that's going on should not. I won't say scared, but should not shock us because our goal is to stay ahead of the curve. That's why we prep. And all we have to do technically is just stay calm. And what's your take on that, Guardian?
So it's funny, but I usually don't mention the type of career that I'm in. However, for your stream's sake, what I'll actually do is I will actually, just for a change, mention the type of career that I do. And I'm actually in risk management, all right?
Okay.
So, being in risk management, what we do for the most part is we also study the alertness levels of the workforce as well. We're able to reduce the amount of incidents that take place in almost any different vertical of workforce as well. Any pretty
Yeah.
much workforce that's out there, whether you're looking at mining, aviation, logistics, all of these different verticals as well. The reason why we're able to reduce the amount of incidents that take place. Now, I'll get to in a moment why this
Mm-hmm.
connects to preparedness too.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
what I'll say is that for the most part, what we've seen within a lot of the studies is that a lot of the time when a lot of these incidents are occurring, or when obviously a person is extremely fatigued, and then that starts to have a very large impact on the actions that they make as well. And most of the time, where these incidents that happen within workplace, now the same could be said for a real world type scenario as well. The same type
Mm-hmm.
of thing that happens within these incidents are often made because people are stressed out and their fatigue is completely off the charts. Now,
Yeah.
the way is people within the preparedness sphere that we could kind of make sure that we can stay on top of that and have a level of have a dynamic mindset about it as well, is make sure that everything that we do at all times is kept to like a very good simmered chill. And the reason why I'm so attracted to what you're doing specifically online at the moment, Vision, is you absolutely have a way of calming people down. When a person listens to what you have to say, you're delivering the message in such a way that is very palatable as well for the audience and for people to listen to at home. And then obviously the reason why I'm mixing in with all of that work with what I'm doing within
Mm-hmm.
my career is because you're giving people the key, and maybe in the back of their minds when things go completely wrong, that voice and that calm demeanor that you have will carry on through that perhaps you could save a life or two, absolutely, by people just
Yeah.
remaining a bit more calm. So just giving you like a little bit of a long-winded answer there, but yeah.
I appreciate that, and I'll say this: if when SHTF happens and y'all hear my voice, y'all are really in trouble because my voice should be the last voice you hear. But yeah, I understand, and that's the whole thing, folks. You know, we were raised. Me and my brothers and my sister were raised that. Why are you stressing out over something if you can't control it and you can't change it? My dad used to say, if you can't control it or change it, don't worry about it. Don't let the stress level get to you because that causes other things, especially within the body, like you said, Guardian, to make mistakes, to overthink stuff, to second guess your gut reaction. And that's what we don't want to have to do in a high stress situation for sure. Definitely. Trish in
That's what you,
progress. Good to see you.
yeah,
Go
that's what
ahead.
you're saying as well. And I just wanted to say hey to Vet Prep that joined in the chat there on the side, one of your community
Yes,
members.
indeed. Good to see you, Vet Prep. Welcome in. East Tennessee. Good to see you, my brother. And everybody else that came in. I just want to say thank you. It doesn't. Hi. You couldn't find the frogs? So you're back. Okay. Yeah. He couldn't get the toll. The frogs to pay the toll. So Cole's
I
back.
love, I love, I love how deep his voice is, how deep that bark is. That bark is really, there's power behind that.
Yeah.
So
So
fantastic.
you should understand this. He is a African Borbal.
Nice, nice, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And he's 15 months old and he don't play. He's a big baby, but if he needs to do what he does, he'll do it for sure. But that's the thing. The world is the pot is boiling, folks. And we know it. And I'm still amazed of the number of people that think everything is normal. And I'm doing air quotes for those
Yeah.
listening. That I don't understand that. And I wish somebody would explain that to me with the mentality of a 6-year-old because that just doesn't compute with me. We see all of the shenanigans and the I'll call it out, all the debauchery going on that they are trying to control the entire world to get us to comply with what they want to do. And I just don't get it. Yeah.
I think, Vision, I really believe that with the way that we've been desensitized because of like just movies and series and the way that even gaming has a play in it, like the way that people view things has definitely been desensitized in a huge way. And I think that unfortunately because of that, so the normalcy bias thing as well takes a bit of impact here as well. Like definitely has a big part to play because people, even, a lot of their mentality, like fortunately there's an amazing statistic that was actually by the federal agency in the United States. They came out, I think it was in March of this year, that there are 20 million people who are busy being like, they would be quote unquote preppers in the United States.
Right.
20 million, which I mean, if you can look up that stat now, if you want, you can double check it. It's absolutely amazing. The fact is that, like, Google how many preppers are in the United States, and it'll come up with the number 20 million. That is, I cannot tell you how beautiful that is. That there are so many people that are wise enough to realize that things might not always be stable, and that you need to make, pragmatic decisions that'll obviously lead yourself into safety, and with not just you, but the people around you.
You
Do you
are
see that there?
absolutely correct. So, folks, let me see if I can. So, I'm going to read what Guardian was just talking about. So, it said, what percentage of Americans are preppers? And it says almost 20 million Americans, or about 7% of all households, now identify as preppers, based on a recent analysis by FEMA. According to the results of last year's National Household Survey on Disaster Preparedness, 57% of Americans had taken 3 or more steps to prepare for a disaster. Yeah, that's awesome.
How does that not bring joy to a person's heart, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like you. I did some research for a class I taught, and here's what got me. Out of everybody in the United States, 73% of people do not have a generator of any kind. Of any kind.
So now you raise that point, right? I think obviously the stats would be very different if you look at South Africa. Over here, like I want to just put light on just our country here locally, just for
Yeah.
a moment.
Yeah.
And we have been through the last 2 decades, and we're just coming out of it now. We're currently in the longest period. The last couple of months is the longest period that we've been out without our load shedding, which is our intermittent electricity shortages and power outages, and that for 20 years we've been experiencing some of the world's most harshest electricity dumps ever. Like there have been times where we only had electricity for like 6 to 12 hours a day in certain areas, and that was consistent. It was perpetual. So ourselves as well, if you look at the amount and percentage, to go on what you were saying there about how many percentage of each of the homes have generators and load and all of that, the percentage is quite a lot higher in South Africa because of the fact that we have to kind of, and not just that, but companies, because of the kind of inconsistency with the electrical grid as well, we've had to kind of counter that. Now, the reason why I'm raising that point is because in the US, it hasn't been as much of a dire situation regarding the electrical grid. So obviously people, in terms of preparedness, are much more reliant on the government providing that current stability that they do, So I think that it does come down to it being something that could definitely be more encouraged within the preparedness community within the United States. Yeah. So I'll tell you the reason why I speak so, the reason why I advocate for the United States the way that I do, and I'll break it down for you for like 30 seconds to a minute, really. I'm extraordinarily passionate about the US, right? My sister has been in the United States. She's living in the state of New York. She's been, I don't want to tell you exactly where, obviously New York as well, but she's been happily in New York for about 15 years now, and she's definitely settled in. I did some, when I was younger as well, I taught downhill mountain biking at some of the summer camps in Pennsylvania. So I was allowed, so I was like, I had the opportunity to go and see some of the US as well, and I can't tell you, like, in a big way, it kind of makes me sad because I saw how amazing the US is, and like I love my country as well. Don't get me wrong, but like
Mm-hmm.
from seeing what the US was all about, and from the way that like the American people accepted me when I was there too, was absolutely amazing. I saw some of the most kindest deeds like ever when I was in the United States, and I saw things functioning in a society and people like working together for like the greater good in a way. Like it's uh, my point being the
Yeah.
reason why I'm so like addicted to the Star Spangled Banner, and I have the US flag right there, right?
Nice.
So for myself, it means so much more that America right now can understand that, like, irrespective of what the political situation looks like, that the US is always able to get through anything as well, because it was
Mm-hmm.
based on the belief, and it's such a young country too, but also based on the belief that you can all just tie together and move on forward. And I think that that's what's going to happen. I think that the media loves to have those PowerPoints as well right now that trigger people and get them to be like, click on that instantly to get that hype, and that's how they get their money, right? But the
Right.
problem is that it gets to a point that what they've been doing is putting people at each other's throats for such a
Yeah.
long time that people start to really sink into and believe in that ideology and stop seeing each other as like human beings. And I think that within that, there's a lot that can be said about where my specific country came out of, like what we've come out of as well, because
Mm-hmm.
everybody knows that South Africa has an extraordinarily dark past. But if you look at us right now, where we've come from and where we are at the moment, we are doing leaps and bounds in terms of like coming, like all uniting together for like a
Nice.
country that we're starting to more and more believe in. That even though
Right.
we've got dark past and we've got like scars, here's the thing about
Yeah.
that, and I'll get off my soapbox here in a second. But the main point that I'm trying to make is that with every single thing that happens within a country as well, every single wound that happens, like all scars bleed, right? Like every single
Mm-hmm.
wound bleeds a lot in the beginning. But
Yep.
over time, as the same thing that happens with every single country, those same wounds start to heal and they become scars. And over time, scars start to dissipate and they basically start to vanish, right? And that's where, like, from our side, we've really seen that within this country. And I'm speaking 100% sober. I'm
Awesome.
speaking 100% from experience. I'm speaking from the bottom of my heart. I'm
Yeah.
telling you guys that this is a message that, like, is extraordinarily important. And for being on the stream and having your ear just for a moment, I want you to like know that there are people absolutely out there in the world that love the United States, that love what the United States stands for as well. And that, if it wasn't for the eagle flying above, who knows what would be happening on the ground everywhere. So
Yes.
I am saying that I love you guys. And if that's the only message that you're able to receive is that, like, that all of the all of the news stations are trying to like have you at each other's throats, don't
Yeah.
buy into that. America is a beautiful country, and it's an example to the rest of the world that if you work hard and you dedicate yourself to something and you push hard enough and you kind to the people around you, that you can do anything with your life. And that's my whole rant over. Sorry about that version.
And no, don't apologize. And we appreciate it. And real quick, I looked up that stat, folks. In South Africa, it has the largest per capita backup generators in Africa. It said accounting for around 2.1 backup generators per 100 people. And this stat came out in 2019, so I'm sure it's much higher than that now. So that's absolutely awesome. And that's the key. All these people in the chat know that, the media is trying to divide us and by preaching nothing but gloom and doom. And that's what we do. And we don't buy into what I call the media mafia, because all of the media is controlled by one company, and they just show this picture of doom and everybody hates everybody. And I, just because of the way I was raised, I've always said and will say until they put me in the ground that, I really don't care the color of your skin. If you treat me like the man I want to be and I treat you with respect the same way, we're going to get along perfectly. And especially if you're like-minded as I am, who knows? We may end up fighting side by side. I'm just saying. But KY Survival, welcome in. My Renaissance grandma is in the building. Y'all better behave, because now we got two grandmas in the building, my Renaissance grandma and the Celtic grandma. And you know how grandma will get you if you misbehaving. So I suggest everybody be on your best behavior. Family Man, welcome in. Good to see you. Feather Fox, good to see you as well. Winning Streak, welcome in. We have an amazing guest with us, Guardian Prepping. He's on the other side of the globe, and he's doing his thing, and I truly appreciate him. Blackbird, welcome in. So he is not of our country, folks, and he just spoke about what we've been talking about for years. Do not believe what the media is saying about us, about what's going on, and all of that. So, it is, there are other countries that are watching us. And if this country falls, I've said it before, if the U.S. falls, the whole world's going to fall. And it is our God-given right to protect our freedoms and our families, plain and simple. So, and y'all know that, but I'm shocked. I'm actually happy to see that, you were talking about people in South Africa, there's generators everywhere. Everybody has them. Folks, speaking of, you'll notice pinned to the top of the chat is still the pre-sale of the Opus Mega 1 coming out. Yeah, check it out. That's all I'm going to say. I'm done teaching and preaching. I will say this, though. They will be available, if I'm not mistaken, for purchase coming September the 10th. You can't go wrong with it, especially even if you're just now looking into buying one. This is the one to get, because it'll power anything in your house. It'll power your refrigerator, your freezers, lights, everything. Anything you need, it will do it. So I'm going to leave it at that. Blackbird said, anyone go to a tea party with Alice? Blackbird, I think that was an empty room, unless that was the cackling hen. I'm not sure. But yeah, Plan B Idaho, welcome in. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Blue Butterfly says, not around here, people versus with generators. Yeah, you'd be amazed. And that's what gets me. 70, when I saw that stat, I was like, that is outrageous. In the United States, 73% of Americans do not have one. And we talk about it, folks, because some of y'all been in Texas, you've had power outages, you've had storms where the power's been out for weeks and days. Backup power is a must. And I know everybody's on a budget. Stay within your budget, get what you can, plain and simple. All right. So, like you said, Guardian, you guys, you said you're watching the U.S. You have a passion. Folks, he has a passion for the U.S. He didn't even live here. He's visited. He has family here. And, he gets what this country was built on and what it stands for. So don't let those that say different about these great republics. Ooh, 1 second, y'all. I'm feeling the hair that I don't have on the back of my neck tingling. Ed, if you're in here, this one's for you, bro. The cup's floating away. And if y'all listen closely, you'll hear that or this. That was a long pour, and the cup is refilled. The love of my life. Thank you. Say hello to everybody.
Hola.
As she quickly exits the building. Yeah.
Hello.
Exactly. Guardian Prepping said hello. She says hola in the distance. Gotta love the COO. She's absolutely amazing. Keeps me out of trouble. Keeps me and Cole on task. And see, everybody speaks to her. But these folks will come in the chat and speak to her before they speak to me. And that's okay. I ain't got no problem with that because, she's the COO. And that's how it works. See, Ed, there you go. Okay, so Guardian, I'm sure, or maybe not, I don't know, that you're familiar with what's going on in the UK and how they're starting to jail people for posting stuff on social media. What's your take on that?
That's a very good, I was saying earlier about the power of the US and why the US is amazing. Your constitution is there for a reason that'll actually protect people through the harsh times and through things like this. Through the situation happening over in the UK, that's happening there because they don't have the constitution. Essentially, they have they have a version of it, sure, but if you look at what they have, I'm cautious to tread into the topic of which constitutions would assist in a time like that. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But on a fundamental level, I believe that what's happening in the UK at the moment, they're using certain agendas to push other ones. I believe that. Okay, so sorry to be like. I really enjoy speaking to you because I think that a lot of the time I feel like I'm being listened to, so I feel like I've got the capability to speak as well.
Absolutely, you do.
I believe that we are currently facing, and I know that there are a lot of people. Hear me out. So I know that there's a lot of people, and I'm saying hear me out to the chat. I know you're listening, but I'm saying that a lot of the time, people, because we have a lifespan that only spans about a century, right? A little bit less than a century, as is right now, and it's constantly improving. I'm really grateful that it is. We're finding ways to combat that all the time, and technology, and there's a lot of innovation that's being done to elongate life and make our life when we're in our older years much more comfortable, which is fantastic. I love that. Got a lot of respect for my elders as well, and I always have. But here's what I'm going to say about that. So when it comes down to where we're heading as a society, like internationally, right? One can't ignore the fact that at the moment we have the developments behind artificial intelligence the way that we do, and not to say that we're at AGI level yet. I completely understand that. So we're not at artificial general intelligence yet, but we are consistently seeing every single month there comes out like there'll be a whole big innovation with like the way that the tech is currently going, right? So my point that I'm getting to about this is because the way that we see things right now, we have like almost because of that century that I was speaking about, the fact is that our lifespan is like that. We have at times a very like short-sighted vision of all things on what kind of like, on the potential for where society is essentially going. What I'm trying to get at is we're focusing so much on, on the fact that there's the type of strife in the world as well, and we're putting emphasis on, no, you don't want people from a different country, and it's making humans almost like dislike one another even more so because of the type of messaging that they're trying to push, right? So the whole thing about it is that like when it comes down to the reason why I bring up the tech side is because not very far into the future, I mean, jobs are consistently being replaced. All of the jobs that you think are not replaceable are currently being replaced, and it's happening consistently more and more. So the way that we view this whole idea of oh no, not humans, it's so strange that we have like this toxic kind of mentality that's being pushed as a narrative across the world. Not everybody buys into it. I think most people refuse to buy into that narrative, but before long, when AI has taken over all of our jobs, okay, in a couple of years, how are we going to get paid? We're going to have to look at a basic income. And I know how horrible that sounds. I'm not trying to push any socialist ideas whatsoever. I love capitalism. I really do. I've got a lot of belief in the way that the capitalist system works for a lot of reasons. Sure, it might not be perfect, but they've tried other different ways in other places and it has fallen flat. So what I'm saying is that at the present moment, that's kind of the best way that we can move forward with what we've got. And if we look at the way forward, I think that we are being pushed to see people from across the pond or either from a different background or a different culture. There's all of this, because you brought up the UK. in the UK as well, there's those riots that are occurring right now,
Mm-hmm.
that are just now, in amongst that, I'd really ask people to see the humanitarian side to the people that are also fighting against the fact that, we've got to. We've, it's so difficult to take a stance in anything, because as soon as you do in the modern world, people will hang you as soon as you take any
Right.
sort of political stance.
Yep.
So what I'm going to say about that is just to understand that all of the narrative that the people
Mm-hmm.
that aren't exactly similar to you are your enemies, and you don't need to get to know them. You'll be surprised how many. Okay, so I'll finish with this on what I'm saying. As a South
Mm-hmm.
African, we have 11 official languages in our country. We have one of the most diverse, absolutely one of the most diverse nations in the whole world. South
Yep.
Africa really does. And I love that we do. I
Right.
would never have traded anything, even though I love the US the way that I do. I'm
Yeah.
so proud to be South African, right? I love my home country. And I love the fact that there are all these different cultures that are mashed together. And together we just have, and when there's hardships because of it, we laugh it off altogether. And to see, I was in primary school, in my junior school, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's when the segregation in South Africa ended. So I want you guys to understand how harsh the segregation was here. And I was one of the first people in junior school to see African people be integrated into white schools, right? Because the schools were segregated and isolated completely.
Right.
Sorry if this whole conversation, it makes some people's hair stand up as well, like that type of thing. It is a very deep conversation, but I'll get to the point what I'm trying to make here as
Mm-hmm.
well. The point is that within that, um, I was a kid that didn't have a lot of cash all the time. I came from we had like 8 family members in a 3-bedroom house, so we had a lot of struggle regarding that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that for any other reason, to say that because of those struggles, I was almost pushed aside as well by the
Mm-hmm.
medium class kids, and then the
Mm-hmm.
kids that were coming into the schools. We were both in a certain way ostracized in the beginning,
Yep.
and because of that, we formed this kind of connection and bond and
Right.
friendship. And I was blessed with the opportunity to look further than the surface when it comes to interacting with other humans. And I've carried that
Right.
same discipline through my life. And it's given me the capability to reach out and to interact with some of the most incredible and amazing human beings that you'll ever come
Yes.
across. Because
Yes.
from 100% so, there are absolute monsters and
Mm-hmm.
angels of all different types out
Mm-hmm.
there in the world. Absolutely, right? So my
Right.
point, closing up with that, with saying that I'm proud to be South African. I love the United States with all my heart. I really do. I think that you guys have a lot to be thankful and grateful for. I know
Right.
that right now it seems in the US that everything is polarized and isolated, but don't believe in it and don't buy into it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And folks, like I agree with you 1,000%, Guardian, because just in the prepping community here, and I'm gonna get specific, in the great state of Ohio in which I live in, I have made some amazing relationships, and none of those people look like me, plain and simple. And I would stand with any one of them and fight for them. And I know they would fight for me as well. And I've met a bunch of people across the country, and the worst thing anybody could do is not listen to somebody and look past the what you see and dig a little deeper about that person, because that may be the exact person that helps you when SHTF kicks off and there's nobody there to help you. My brother in the chat, Mad Shad, Ghost Lincoln. I can name pretty much almost everybody in the chat. If I needed some help, they would be on their way in a heartbeat, and vice versa. And that's, you recognize that, like you said, in the, as far as I'm concerned, the most diverse country on the planet, continent on the planet. And my take on that is, despite other nations, other countries coming to your great continent and taking advantage of the natural resources that's there. Y'all, as people, have come together as one to do what's necessary for your homeland. And I, my friend, salute you for that. And because I can, because I'm old for a reason, this cup of coffee is dedicated to my man, Guardian Prepping, because he's speaking the truth, folks. He's not even in our country, but he's on the outside looking in, and he's telling you what he sees in this country. And he's not here on a day-to-day basis. He doesn't have to deal with the turmoil, and mayhemicness that those that are supposedly running this country trying to shove down our throat. And he's telling us, keep doing what you're doing because you're doing the right thing. And that's all we can do, folks. That's all we can do. All American Prepper, good to see you, my brother. Hope you're doing well, and everybody else that came in. Just sitting here having an amazing conversation with a gentleman that I came across that is absolutely, from the bottom of my heart, a brother of mine on the other side of the planet. Guardian
So,
Prepping, it is
yeah,
what it is, and I appreciate you.
Vision, I want to say as well that in everything that I'm saying, I want you at home to also, like everybody that's listening, to also understand that
Mm-hmm.
from our side, like there's no point whatsoever, and my life is way too short. I've seen so many people that I was very close to pass away through my life. I know we've all lost people. I've lost a lot of people.
Yeah.
And through losing all of the people, I can tell you 100% that as I sit here today with everybody, there would be absolutely no point for me to be in any way deceitful about what I'm saying. Everything that I'm saying, no matter who I'm talking to, is always the narrative. Like the same narrative is consistent through what I'm saying because of having a level of integrity. And I was speaking to you the other day, and
Yeah.
this doesn't always need to be the case, but
Right.
where my integrity comes from, vast amount of it is because of having a better half as well that acts like a mirror
Yeah.
to my own nonsense sometimes. Because when we live with somebody, and this is a whole different topic in a way as well, but when we live with somebody, sometimes they can act as mirrors to our own nonsense, right? And like we're usually, if we were just staying by ourselves, we can believe our own nonsense or whatever. But when we put it out there, and when like we have somebody that's like, but wait, are you sure that you're thinking about that the right way? Or, or
Mm.
what about this way to see it or something as well? Like, and
Yes.
sometimes, even if we don't have that other partner, we can do that for ourselves, but it is very difficult. But
Yeah.
like, we can sometimes question ourselves and have a level of mindfulness about the things that we speak about as well, because what we do put out there, it's just words. Words
Mhm.
absolutely have a lot of power. I mean, look throughout history at how powerful words have really been. Um,
Yep.
the pen is mightier than the sword, and it really is. So you have to be so careful as well. And everything that you're saying, right? It's always building or breaking, right? So everything that you're saying, you're either building somebody up. I know that this is very cheesy, but I've been saying this for a reason because it's in context with what I'm saying. But you're
Mm-hmm.
either always breaking or building. And think about that. When you're speaking to somebody tomorrow in your work, day-to-day life, or in your engagements with your spouse at home, with your children, whatever the case may be, everything that you're saying has so much power. And with everything that we're doing within preparedness, like the communication and the knowledge built because of the communication is
Mm-hmm.
so much more important than, and it's the crux of everything that we've got to do, right? Because
Yeah.
sure, we can get all the items together, we can be as trained as physically possible, and I put a lot of emphasis onto that. I put a lot of emphasis onto my training and my skill sets. But
Yes.
when it does come down to all of that, those skill sets, they can never take away from you. The knowledge, they can never take away from you. But the sense and to start off the stream as well, where we were speaking about a level of calmness, that is something that absolutely will help you in every single situation whatsoever. So everybody that's listening to the side chat over here, Vision definitely is carrying the same message through the videos because I do my research. So trust me when I say that. You don't need to trust me. I always say, be careful of people who say trust me, and then I say trust me myself. But what I want to point out is that there's definitely a constant message, and I really appreciate that, Vision.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. And that's the whole key. I mean, I've seen plenty of people on YouTube that preach gloom and doom. And if you listen to them long enough, they're selling you stuff from either their website or their affiliates, and they're saying, unless you buy my gear, you're going to die. No. My whole goal is if I can help one person prepare for an unknown disaster, a natural disaster, a family disaster, then I've accomplished my goal. And I don't even know if that's true yet. Have I helped one person? I don't know. I hope so. In my small mind, I think I have. If nobody else, I've helped me. And I've helped the COO because I'm out of her hair 3 days, 4 days a week for an hour. So, there it is right there. Yeah. But, you're absolutely right. And I'm learning from you, Guardian, because your demeanor is a lot like mine. And you think. And that's, folks, that is the most powerful prep we have, is the thing between our ears, and it's our mind. So that anytime we come up against something, we don't spaz out and scream and holler and run away. We think about it. Men innately are fixers. They always want to fix something. If it's broken or it looks like it isn't working the way it should be, we're trying to fix it. That's our mentality. That's our makeup. We're fixers, we're providers, we're protectors. That's it. I told the COO, I got 2 jobs, provide and protect. That's it. Everything else is stupidity on my part, because those are my 2 jobs. And as long as I do that, I can sleep at night.
Isn't prepping okay, so what you're doing when it comes to providing isn't only on a monetary level at the moment in time, right? When you're preparing, and it comes to both genders doing this as well. If you're a lady or man listening to the chat, what you're saying, their vision is absolutely so. Genetically, there are differences. Obviously, there's a difference between estrogen and testosterone. I know in the modern world, people want to have a little bit of debate, but you've got some extremely good points there on what men and what the masculine spirit does. Absolutely, like what that is about. Now, sure, 100% when it comes to that, I think that there's a reason why a lot of genetically, on the side of people choosing on a gender level which positions to fulfill within society as well, it's very much dominant within certain areas, right? And that's for a reason, because men are in that essence the protectors, and when given the opportunity to not only protect themselves but to protect the people that they care for, that's where the way in which preparedness comes into that is so powerful, because it's not only that you're providing by doing my job every single day or making sure that I'm in best physical form that I can be, not anything like that, because I'm not. I'm actually at a stage where I'm building that back up. But the truth is that somebody, VL, brilliant for bringing that up as well. The family and the family unit and the ability to provide for them. We've seen this in the past, how bad things can go and how quickly they can go as well. Not only natural disasters, but across the world right now, there are certain hot points, and everybody that's listening as well realizes that this is the truth. There are points within the globe across the world right now, pivotal areas that are really hot spots. And we don't need to name them. We all understand them as well. Right. And that being said, there's never been a time where you should absolutely make sure that you're as prepped as possible.
Yeah.
And just to close out that as well, when you're prepping for your kids, for your family as well. And even if not that, some people are single and they don't have kids, but they're prepping because they understand that they could assist somebody else one day as well. Not everybody has family not everybody's in that situation either. But I'm saying, from a family man's point of view, and from a dad and from a father, from a husband's perspective, really, it's so important for us to do those things. And I do feel a sense of, when I am prepping, in the back of my mind, I'm like, at least this is a form of protection. And as a South African, the things that I'm prepping for, a lot of people, when they think about, as a South African, what would you prep for? Absolutely, what we're prepping for here, what myself primarily, is the same thing everybody else should be. which is
Exactly.
global scenarios, right? It's these
Yes.
things that could happen to us all globally. It's not anything particular, like anything
Right.
like as a South African specifically. I'm actually really happy that South Africa has an extraordinarily good climate for growing a lot of
Mhm.
vegetables as well. And then not only that, but I've studied a lot of our history and our cultural history along the different tribes within South Africa. And there
Right.
is so many amazing survival skills that you can attain and gain from the people of South Africa. If
Yeah.
you want to, I strongly urge you to look up when you guys have time after this. This is a little bit of a side project for you guys if you want to check into it too. But they're called the Khoi San, and you might have heard of them before, right? It's Khoi, Khoi, and then San. So the Khoi San. If you want to look up Khoi San survival tactics, right, you'll be amazed at how much you can learn from the people that were here originally, like a lot of the people that were here, like they have
Mhm.
so many amazing skill sets that they can offer other people as well. So if you go into that, you're most welcome, and you can become prepped in a whole different way regarding their survival
Spell that
skills.
again. K. What was it?
It's Khoi
Mm-hmm.
and then San. So Khoi San.
Khoisan people. Okay.
Yeah, the Khoi San people. Look into them. Like you'll find out so much. The deeper you dig, the more that you'll become equipped to pretty much handle any terrain that's similar to ours. So,
Yeah.
like,
You heard it, folks. I'm gonna put this in the chat, and y'all can look them up for yourself.
yeah, it's very interesting.
Yes.
Matt, I got an Ashanti hat. Matt, share. That's awesome. It's really cool.
See, that's the professor. That's my guy right there. Yeah, he's a good friend, and he knows a lot, and I learn a
Yeah.
lot from him. But folks, I'm telling you, your key takeaway out of that, what you just said, to me was he's prepping for the same thing we are, folks. He's on a different continent on the other side of the globe. That makes us one, y'all, no matter where he's at. It is, as far as I'm concerned, just like he's in another state in these great republics of America. He's prepping for the same thing we are. And he just goes about it based on his environment. He's probably got more generators than all of y'all in the chat. I don't know.
I'm not going to brag, but
Right. But hey, you heard him. He said he's not going to brag. So I guarantee you he has more than two. I'll say that. I don't know. And I don't want to know. But he's doing the things that we're doing.
no, not just generators, but like there's a lot of ways because it's a strong point of ours. Because so obviously, we're all prepping for the same kind of situations, but even with the same situations, my generators and my backup, my inverters and solar power as well, all of those capabilities are
Right.
based off of the country's problem with the electricity that we had. We
Right.
really had a rough situation with our grid. So when it comes to prepping, we are prepping for the same things, absolutely 100%. So we really are. And I think that for ourselves, we're also prepping with the same mentality. Because when it comes down to the fundamental things for our survival, we all need the same things, right? So we've got to cover, as somebody there mentions, the bases.
Yep.
Yeah, it's extremely important.
And that's it, folks. And don't be quick to judge somebody because they don't look like you. I'll say that. I'm gonna put it out there. I mean that's how I was raised, so I can say it. I don't. I'm old, and I'm old for a reason. So I'm gonna take my oldness flag and say I
You're
can
not
say
old.
it.
You're not old.
That's true. I'm not, but that's my story, and I'm gonna stick to it. Don't let it fool you. Don't let the gray hair fool you. Okay, I'll say that. But
That's not
it
true at all.
no, you're right. But folks, we all know the pot is boiling. Okay, let it boil. We're gonna have soup and eat after whatever comes. We're gonna take that boiling pot and we're gonna turn it into soup or turn it into something and eat and be okay. Because that's why we prep. We stay ahead of the curve. We do all of that. Cherokee Survival, if I didn't speak to you, bro, hope you're doing well. Hope the family
Yeah.
is amazing. Yeah.
Good to see you. Good to see you, Cherokee. Big supporter as well of my channel, and really just a strong supporter for the last couple of years regarding the prepping side of things as well. So definitely somebody that adds a lot of wisdom and adds a lot of guidance, and really just somebody that is, positive. And yeah, I don't know where, if there was a comment or something that All American said there, but All American, I agree with you. We should all absolutely be getting along, and there shouldn't ever be, any sort of bickering between people because of something as silly as surface. Because obviously, when it comes down to what we're all doing, right, preparedness, man, like if anybody has like a problem with somebody else based on like such a simple thing such as like if that's the thing that's going to stop you from living, and you've been prepping all this time and you've been like investing so much into survival, and the one thing that you're going to do is not be okay with chilling or with getting along with somebody else that can essentially you guys can be assisting each other because they look different to you. That's like, so I know that none of us feel that way, fortunately, but if there are people like that, and there are people like that in the world, we can't be foolish to believe that there aren't. But I believe that within our community, fortunately, I believe that there's a lot less of it than there may be in some other communities. From what I've seen people be open-hearted and stuff as well. Also, I just want to say a very funny comment to somebody in the side chat here as well. That is speaking about an Australian, if he doesn't know how to do an Australian barbecue. Because they want me to bring up so Australians don't know how to cook meat, right? Because they struggle with certain things, like they struggle with the break dancing. It's a similar type of thing. If you see Australian break dancing, it's the way that they make their meat. It's not really, it's in no way efficient. So I'm making a complete joke. Sorry for jumping on the ray gun situation over there. But like South Africans are very proud of the way that we cook our food as well, because we can close with this quickly. But before we do, because we're heading on an hour, and I'd love to have another stream with you, but I think that you've heard enough of my voice tonight. What I was going to say is that we cook meat in a very primitive way as well. And what we do is we just put wood around together, stack some wood together, we set that on fire, very simple way, and we call it a braai. Those people might be familiar with it. And then we make meat like that. And Australians are also very proud of the way that they cook, because they also have a lot of technique to it, and it's a cultural thing. But it's something where South Africans and Australians have a bit of, it's light camaraderie kind of banter, you could say. But we definitely do. If you had to, I wish we could do this in person, where you could sit down and you could have any of the Australians that are in your chat or that cook you a fantastic meal, and I'll cook you a braai, okay? And then we could bring them to you, and you'd be able to be like,
we'll judge it. Jack, you hear that? Hillside Homestead, Hill Summit Homestead. Yeah, he's from down under. Yeah, Jack. It sounds to me, Jack, like you just been challenged, my friend. And
we could definitely do that.
Yeah, there you go. But it's always good to have you, Guardian. I'm so glad I met you, and we've got to spend some time together. And this is going to be the second of many. There he goes. What'd you say, Jack?
You see, it's a long-standing thing. Like I do have, specifically with Auslander. I love Auslander's sense of humor too. He's one of the darkest sense of humors out there, and I absolutely love it. But good to see you, Auslander. It's been too long, and I'm actually back with my Guardian prepping channel. I took a hiatus away to my fitness channel on the side. I'm not going to shout out that here right now. My prepping channel is what I'm going to be focusing on for next year too. But I'm not going to be speaking about that here. What I'm going to be saying is that with vision, with the channel that you subscribe to at the moment, and the channel that we're watching this live stream on, I just want to say to everybody in the chat, you really are supporting somebody that I firmly believe in. I would vouch for, and it's of my professional interest to analyze certain traits about people. And I'm not saying that I'm some high-level psychologist. I am saying, though, that within my professional career, it's definitely paramount that I understand human beings. So what I'm saying is Vision is one of the nicest people. And when I say that, I do not say this about everybody. Vision, you're amazing. I think that what you're doing at the moment means a lot to the community. So I tip my hat to you, and I really mean it. I fully want everybody to just continue to support you, because I think that you have an amazing path ahead of you as well with what you're doing. And you are, I don't think there's a difference in age between us. I think that when it comes down to survival skills, I don't think you're old as you say. I know that you're saying it, but I think that you're extremely young. You can see how vibrant and youthful you are in your face as well. You're looking great, good health. And thanks to everybody in the chat for supporting and for being around for us as well. I really appreciate it. And thank you very much for having me on, Vision.
Oh, you know what, Guardian? If you were in the States, I'd be like, you know what, bro, come on over, and you bring the wife and come on over for dinner. And I'm gonna probably cook you the best steak that you would ever have in your entire life. So, I appreciate you, and I appreciate.
Don't tempt me with steak, bro. Don't tempt me with a steak, dude. But don't do
hey, dude, you can ask the COO. You can ask our son. You can ask anybody in this household. Nobody can cook a steak like I do. Period.
Man, I love protein so much. So like, obviously for myself, being somebody that loves the fitness lifestyle, like protein, you got to have the protein. And steak, I feel the water coming along somewhere around here, right?
You sound like me.
Yeah. Thanks. Yes. Thank you so much for having me up. You really have an amazing soul. So keep on doing what you're doing, spreading the good message. And I'll definitely be back anytime you need me around for any sort of multiple things stream for an international panel. You want something like that? You have it from our side, absolutely.
Together. And Jack, I need you on that too. And I want to get Shadow Scout on that as well. And then have a couple people here. But I definitely will let you know about that, Guardian. And
I have in my back. Yeah. No, sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt there. Before I go, I was going to say that I have in my back pocket extremely interesting set of people from all over the world. So just let me know. I go out of my way to connect with individuals from different places. So you'll be surprised as to who I can pull out of the woodwork when it comes down to it. I love having an international outlook as well, and I love speaking to different people and learning like more about them and the way that they do things in their little corners of the world. So we can speak about this in the future as well. I'll bring on some more people slowly but surely, maybe. But thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Tell them, Jack. That's right. That's right. You see that, devil dog? You see that word right there that Jack just put right there. You know, there was collusion and coercion at the Bug Out weekend. So, you know, the champ is here. But anyway, Guardian, I appreciate you. I got to run too because I got another live stream. Folks, we're going to be on Rumble tonight on, I think, Hudson Valley's channel at 7:45 in less than 15 minutes. It's either Hudson Valley or the Livingston Man. You got to find out. Once I find out, I'll post it on my community chat as well. Unless, Mike, you're in the chat, please tell us where we're meeting at. But with that, Guardian, bruh, anything you need, reach out to me.
Yeah. Because same, 100%. 100% so, Vision. We'll chat soon. We'll organize a bit of a chat where we can maybe even chat a bit of an offline chat maybe this coming weekend for a while. Just have a catch up, just talk about some stuff. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Sounds good. And thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for the support, Cherokee Survival, Teresa as well. I really appreciate that. And for everybody else, thank you for being here. Wow.
Y'all's nephew.
What a beautiful dog.
Thank you. 15 months old. And, you know, he has to always make an appearance.
I love it.
You going to say hi or what you going to do?
He is such a legend.
Okay. Now you got to get down. Thank you.
That is so awesome. Lord. I love that guy so much.
120 pounds, 15 months old, and doing nothing but getting bigger. But folks, remember this, keep on prepping because your family depends on you and it depends on your life. This is Vision Preparedness, my man, Guardian Prepping. We will see you in the next video. Come join us on Rumble tonight at 7:45. Take care. God bless everybody. Stay safe and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Stay safe.
The time is now.